Welcome back to Mountain West Phenomenons. I'm your host
And Tristan.
and before before we get into what's going to be probably our most serious topic, um, do a little fun stuff we found around the internet just to so this isn't a total joy kill with what we're about to talk about, which I think we both have some stuff.
Yes, we do. Should I go?
Yeah, you can go first. I'm pulling on mine.
So recently, as of 2026, in California, there was an incident. There is a man who dressed up in a bear suit, and he was attacking luxury cars in a scam for insurance fraud. Uh, there was three people sentenced for these crimes, if you want to call them that. But yeah, there's a guy just kind of wandering around dressed up as a bear suit with these big metal claws in his paws, beating up cars to get some insurance money. So that's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I love the almost Scooby-Doo aspect of that.
Maybe that's what lured me into it. I wasn't sure what I found so fascinating about it, but might be that.
Dude, we need more, I want more people doing fraud to do more Scooby-Doo bullshit.
You want more people doing fraud.
Okay, well, that sounds bad. If you're going to do fraud, I want you to do it more like Scooby-Doo. You shouldn't do fraud, but if you do, there do it as Scooby-Doo. There we go.
Dress up in a costume.
Yeah.
Make it a little fun.
Oh hell yeah. And a little fun thing I found for me was about apparently a 91-year-old had the cops called to her house for a check-in. She had automated system that would call to kind of make sure that she was alive and not in danger.
Like life alert.
Yeah. But she missed the call, and so the police were immediately sent to her house to check. Where when they went in, they found her completely healthy. She was just gaming and just got locked in and just did not realize about the call.
And did they say what she was playing?
No. They gave a description, but it was I think they said a bubble popping game or whatever, which I'm like, huh?
Okay.
But
I was like, that'd be a great advertisement for whatever game it is.
no, yeah. But they didn't say. But yeah, she just got locked in and was trying to beat her high score.
It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, thank God
Nice
she's not
detective, dude.
dead or anything.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Also saw a thing apparently that people around that age range are apparently do game a lot now.
I would think so. They're usually all kind of stuck indoors at that age.
Oh yeah, it's can't really do much as video games.
Yeah, dude, get them a VR. Alright. When I'm old, I would love to have a VR. You know how sweet that'd be?
Oh, that'd be
Inside
awesome.
gardening, tractor simulator.
Someone puts a horror game without telling you.
Oh yeah, no, I would shit myself.
Was that just because I'm old, or was that the horror game?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
Taco Bell the night before.
Oh God, I would not feed an old person Taco Bell.
Yeah, no, that would be gross.
That would be awful as fuck. Oh my God, Jesus, that just reminds me of fucking my grandma. And just this one night where I got so upset because she shit on the floor, because she's old and had problems. And I realized, and I stepped in, it was an awful day. And I was a teenager, and I just remember I was so pissed, on the verge of crying. I think I called my mom, was just so upset.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I would be upset too if I stepped in human shit.
Oh yeah, dude, it was an awful day, and that was the cherry on top. And I was so
Yeah.
pissed.
Did it go between your toes?
Yeah, it fucking went everywhere. And I had to fucking
Mm.
was washing off in the shower. I think my
Yeah,
whole
that'd be
body
bad.
because I was like, I am tainted.
Just cut the whole thing off. Get rid of it.
God, yeah, Jesus. But yeah, I was running at that and like, uh,
I could see why that'd be a bad day.
oh yeah, very, very much so. Well,
All right.
if you want to introduce the actual topic of this week, since this is about the where the fun ends for a good bit.
So this week we will be talking about the cold case murder of 17-year-old Catherine Tighe in 1983 and the murder of Kim Bryant. Uh, it was around 1:30 p.m. on February 7th of 1983, and classes had just let out at Chaparral High School in the south side of Las Vegas. 17-year-old junior Catherine Tighe was supposed to meet her friend to pick her up from school, but she never showed up to meet her ride. Adding to the mysterious circumstances of Catherine's no-show for her ride, none of her fellow classmates remembered seeing Catherine on campus after classes ended that day. Failing to come home from school was far from Catherine's typical behavior, which prompted her parents to immediately involve law enforcement in searching for their their daughter's whereabouts. Police had no luck in locating the young student, and contemporary local news reports indicated this was a case someone had truly disappeared without a trace. Nearly a month would pass before Catherine's fate was discovered. A man collecting empty cans in a vacant desert lot between Plain and Indios, near Boulder Highway, discovered the partially clothed body of a young woman laying face down underneath a bush. On the morning of March 2nd of 1983, the man immediately contacted the police, and investigators soon identified the remains of those of Catherine Tighe.
Goddamn, I a whole month. I cannot imagine.
A month just worrying about where your kid went.
No, yeah, because I'm like, do you think a month is short enough to still like that? There's still like the hope that they're potentially alive.
A month? I
Yeah.
would think so.
No, yeah,
I
then.
mean, unless they're found, I don't think you'd ever really give up hope that they would come home.
Oh, okay. I feel like there'd be a time where it's like where you probably have to just kind of go like, yeah, they're probably gone, and just like so
Years.
you can move
I would say
on.
years at that point.
No, yeah, I guess it would be fucked up if like if you disappeared and your like parents were just like a month were like, oh well, he's gone. The Clark County Coroner's Office determined that Catherine died from manual strangulation, and that she had been sexually assaulted prior to her murder. Homicide detectives believe Catherine was murdered within 1 to 2 hours after her abduction, and they noted the remains were discovered not far from her high school. But investigators had little evidence to go on regarding the circumstances of Catherine's murder as they did her disappearance. Chief of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Division, Lieutenant John Carner, told local reporters she left school at 1:30 p.m. as she normally did, and we have no idea who picked her up. We don't know if she went willingly. We have nothing to go on. There's not much background information about the Tighe murder. Catherine was born in New York, but she had lived in Vegas for the 8 years preceding her murder. She was described as a quiet and polite, as well as a good student by her classmates. She had recently taken a part-time job working at the school cafeteria to make some extra money. Catherine's pastimes were going to the movies and shopping. Her parents told the police that she didn't have a history of running away.
Detective Dave Hatch. He's a homicide detective that worked the case. He told reporters in 1996 it was one of those cases where it started and ended right at the scene. She was raped and murdered. Whoever did it put cardboard over her body like she was a piece of garbage and left her on the side of Boulder Highway. We've never come up with anything on it. She was just a kid walking home from school and never made it. Renewed interest in the Tighe murder was generated in 1987 after the arrest of Herbert James Codington. in South Lake Tahoe for murdering 2 women chaperoning a pair of young models. After his arrest, Codington was also charged with the murder in 1981 of a 12-year-old Shaylee Jo Keister in Las Vegas. The fact that Keister had been kidnapped in the middle of the day and died from strangulation caused some speculation about connections between Codington and the Catherine Tighe murder. After all, Codington lived in Las Vegas between 1980 and 1984, but the Metro homicide detectives were clear to reporters that they did not believe Codington was involved in Catherine's murder.
I wonder why. Like, what made them go like, oh, he definitely didn't do it.
I'm assuming he probably just had an alibi, maybe for that time.
Maybe because like it like it does really like line up for when Catherine's murder happened. And like
Yeah,
since he did similar stuff, he targeted young girls. Like
that's that's what I'm assuming. He must have had an alibi, maybe, or he was out of town for that little period of time, taking a
yeah,
trip, maybe.
because that's like yeah, because that's like I feel like the only really way they could be so quick to be like, oh, it's not him, you know,
Yeah,
just with
I mean,
how
honestly,
well this lines all up.
yeah, I mean, like, honestly, at that point, if you're already being charged with 2 murders, like, what adds a third one, you know?
I don't know, yeah.
Like,
I think it's more just like the thing of like,
finding who actually did it.
yeah, you know, so like if he did do it and they're like pretty confident, it'd be like, yeah, add that to, you know, the whole thing because so that case can have some resolution and stuff.
Yeah,
Well, but a little more on Herbert, even though he did not, at least to the police, do the Catherine murder, he did still, as we just talked about, did murder a 12-year-old girl in the area in Las Vegas around similar time, but he also murdered 2 older women later on. In 1984, he would murder 69-year-old Maybelle Mabs Martin, who was the owner of the Showcase Finishing and Modeling School based in Reno, Nevada. And he would also murder her 67-year-old friend, Dorothy Dottie Walsh. He murdered the 2 after he got 2 young models, 14-year-old Alicia Thomas and 12-year-old Monica Burge, to come to, you know, his house. Where then he tied them up, and then when the 2 older people showed up, he then murdered them through I think strangulation as well. Yeah, he strangled both women. And stuffed their bodies in green trash bags. And he got 2 models because he apparently, like starting in early May, he would go around to a bunch of modeling agencies looking for teenage girls, and that was the only one that accepted, but it accepted with the caveat that the owner and her friend would come to supervise.
that is unfortunate.
No, yeah. But he would be found by receiving reports that, you know, a strange dude was going around to multiple models places and acting. So he wasn't very, what's the word? Discreet?
Okay.
So basically, they were able to kind of find him quick. With the 2 models, the 2 young girls were able to survive, and they were brought back to their family, and then they received psychological treatment, you know, as well. And then during his trial, he tried for the insanity plea. However, that did not work. He was found sane, and he was convicted of the murders. and put on death row. So that was Herbert over there.
Was he executed, or was he able to just live out his life in prison?
I think he's still alive.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty sure. Yeah, he's still alive, and he's still on death row, waiting for execution, which is not
Surprised no one
uncommon.
took care of him. So I'm surprised no one took care of him.
That is true. That is
Good old
true.
justice, you know.
During the investigations, for the two, the owner and her friend, that's when he was also linked to the 12-year-old murder in Las Vegas, where he used to live before he moved to um, South Lake Tahoe, California. So, yeah, he like from what I can see, he's still alive, but like that's not really uncommon.
Yeah.
Since I'm pretty sure like most people who get put on death row like are still like alive. Like they just basically sit there.
Yeah, they just take forever and let them die of natural causes.
Yeah.
So that will bring us into a man named Johnny Blake. Johnny Blake Peterson was born in Las Vegas on September 12th of 1960. He attended Western High School, and then after leaving school in 1977, Peterson worked as a freelance plasterer, got married, and had 2 children. It is known that Peterson was arrested for rape at some point during his life, but it's unclear if he served any time for this offense. He was an American rapist, murderer, and a suspect of a serial killer who was linked via DNA to 2 murders committed in his native city of Las Vegas between 1979 and 1983. He wasn't linked to the murder of Catherine, but with his murders being as well of quite violent nature towards young women, it could be a possibility that he was related to this murder.
Yeah. Several aspects of Catherine's abduction and murder bear similarities to another crime that occurred almost exactly 4 years earlier. 16-year-old Kim Bryant was waiting at the Dairy Queen across from her Las Vegas high school just after 10 a.m. on the morning of January 26, 1979. Bryant was abducted by an unknown man in a vehicle, and her body was later found in a desert area near Buffalo Avenue and Charleston Boulevard. Bryant died due to several blows to the head from a large rock, and her body bore signs of sexual assault. Her slaying remained unsolved for decades.
And in the early 2020, a local philanthropist, Justin Wu, donated $5,000 to raise funds for cold case investigations. Detectives gathered enough DNA evidence from Bryant's case to send it to the testing at Othram. On November 29th of 2021, they announced Peterson's DNA had been officially linked to the case, cementing him as a likely perpetrator for Kim Bryant. Not long after, an anonymous acquaintance of Peterson contacted investigators and informed them that he might have been involved in Hanson's murder. In order to learn whether this was true, Peterson's DNA was compared to that collected at the Hanson case, and only 2 weeks later it resulted in a positive match. Because of this, he was declared responsible for Hanson's murder as well, and both cases were officially closed. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, LVMPD, had announced that they are investigating Peterson and at least five additional murders committed in the area during the late 1970s and early 1980s, thus being why I believe he could be a suspect for Catherine. They had emphasized that so far he remains only a suspect and have advised against labeling him as a serial killer until his DNA testing had officially finished.
He died at age 32 in January of 1993 at a Las Vegas hospital from a drug overdose. Kim Bryant had been abducted from her high school just like Catherine Tighe, and Both girls were sexually assaulted before being murdered in a desert area, not long after their disappearance. And one 1983 news article about the Tighe murder stated that her abduction was part of an alarming number of teenage girls and young women who had vanished mysteriously from the streets of Las Vegas in broad daylight. I would imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like, it being Las Vegas, like, I'm not too shocked that there would be that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's. I didn't look into the stats on that, but I'm sure there's several people that just end up missing in Vegas.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, human trafficking is, like, a big problem there. I might be wrong.
In Vegas? Absolutely. Said in Vegas? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I also got asked, like, how, like, because if he's, like, they connected him to 2 murders, like, how many murders until they say you're a serial killer is just something that was being brought up to me.
I think just after more than one with the same, like, acts, I believe. Like, or just similarities between the murders.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because the Hansen murder was the murder of a 22-year-old Diana Hansen, who was a college student who was visiting her family for the holidays. She went out to jog in the western parts of Las Vegas, where she encountered Pearson, who sexually assaulted and then stabbed her to death. Her body was found the following day by a man picking up firewood. So I guess if that's like the criteria, they were different ways.
There were different ways, but both of violent nature towards females.
Yeah, both of them involved him sexually assaulting them. He just killed them differently.
I would still say they're both of quite violent.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like they are.
Right? Like, I feel like stabbing someone rather than, say, like, shooting someone. Like, there's most definitely a difference in, like, personal interest there.
Oh, no, yeah.
Hit on the Vegas thing, though. Apparently, there's an average of 10 adults are reported missing daily, and a total over 300 per month.
Oh, my God.
So, I can only imagine that. Oh, and there's over 200 cold cases currently.
200? Oh, my God. See, that's where I'm like, I would think we, like, came far in, like, investigation stuff or, like, DNA, you know, like, stuff like that to, like, link to cases. But then, like, still just, like, a alarming amount of cold cases still happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many of them disappear with literally no trace at all? Like, there's no DNA to be tested, you know?
No, yeah.
Up and disappear.
And
who's to say they're murders? Maybe they just uproot and go off grid.
Well, that.
Or they're living under Vegas as a homeless druggie. Could also happen.
Well, yeah, that. Or, like, not necessarily murder. It could be, like, human trafficking. Other stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know. It just seems like with, like, technology and, like, I would think with, like, security footage, like, everywhere, like, all of that would make cold cases happen way harder. But I don't know. I guess it's still very, very easy to just disappear without trace.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you on that. Maybe they just don't do enough research or enough technological advancements in that field.
That's what I'm thinking. Also, like, there is the thing of, like, the police probably just being lazy for a big part of them. Because, I mean, like, you hear so many stories of, like, this person, like, has even has evidence of, like, something, goes to the police, and they're just like, we'll get to it when we do. And, like, they just never do anything on it.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a common story for, like, multiple different crimes.
Well, I'm sure that happens for a reason, I would hope.
I would hope.
Maybe they're overwhelmed with current cases, or maybe it could just be because they're lazy. Who knows?
It's probably honestly a mix. If we're being honest, it's probably a mix of like some places probably being overwhelmed, and then others just like, oh well,
We'll get to it.
we'll get to it, and they just don't. And that's just
Yeah,
the sad thing.
yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Are you guys having fun right now? Is this a very fun topic?
Well, I think it's a good switch up.
Oh
You know?
no, yeah. It's just like like especially for our last episode, there's a tonal shift for people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so right now we're still in like our testing phase, I would say.
oh yeah.
But if anyone has any suggestions on topics or what you'd like to see us cover, you could just leave a comment of it.
Yeah.
Be greatly appreciated.
Oh yeah. There's the thing of like it's fun to talk about like the like potential like spookiness of like tunnels or like ghosts at like a rundown fort. Like that's, pretty pretty fun and all that, and like it could be scary, but like I think also that does kind of help to make the thing of like humans are just the more scary thing than like a ghost. Like I think that helps show like ghosts and all that can be like spooky, but like you're never going to outmatch like just the horror that another human can inflict. You know what I mean?
Absolutely agree on that. Especially with that, I'm not sure if you saw about it, but that FedEx driver.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they even had like audio recording of him like talking to
Oh
the
no,
girl.
there's recording. There's a dash cam inside in the vehicle.
Jesus Christ.
There's videos of him cleaning up after.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah,
Jesus Christ. No, yeah, and so like
maybe we can cover him next.
maybe, probably a little too still new,
Yeah, too soon.
too
Too
soon,
soon.
too soon. But I think it's still good to maybe cover this cold case that we did, just
Yeah.
to be like, it's fun talking about ghosts or cryptids and that potential spooky, but it's also good to still remember the actual horrifying stuff.
We want to give it time to make sure there's no individuals closely related to the case.
No, yeah. Um, but yeah,
There's always going to be new topics to cover with this.
Oh yeah. And maybe
Hey,
people don't. Maybe people don't want us to cover cold cases.
Yeah,
Which,
that's all right though.
I mean, many people cover cold cases. So like, if you guys don't like us covering cold cases, that is totally fair. If you rather just leave it to the more fantastical kind of nature to cover, I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. Switch it up for one.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Search it up for one.
But,
it's our 6th episode. We're still figuring this out. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Let's switch up the mood a little though, and let's go into some fun questions.
Well, before fun questions, I actually had another article I saw, which I thought was not like fun, but like kind of like, wow, that is a coincidence. Because apparently a Titanic exhibit at the Volo Museum flooded on the anniversary of the sinking. So maybe not like fun, but like just like a
crazy coincidence.
Yeah, like wow, that is a thing. That is a thing to happen on that day.
Where it was a museum?
Yeah, there was a exhibit at a museum, and then like it was during the time I think it was like a like very heavy thunderstorm that just started to cause it to flood. That's something. Anyways.
That is a crazy coincidence indeed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what's your You got any fun thing to talk about, lighten this mood for our viewers?
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you think on mythological creatures, and which one do you think has the biggest dick? Pretty
Hmm.
hard-hitting question there, right?
Very hard hanging question. Probably Bigfoot.
I was gonna kind of go with the same thing. I was thinking like a Yeti.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
maybe not.
he's a
Let's not
Bigfoot.
say well, or yeah, because I was like a Yeti in the snow. I can only imagine he's cold and
Oh, that dude's
turtled,
shriveled. Yeah.
turtled up.
No, yeah. Nah,
Maybe
Bigfoot.
Mothman.
Mothman?
I could see Mothman.
Nah.
He
Probably.
uses it as like a dorsal fin.
Well, I was thinking he
Flying
probably
through
has
the
a
wind,
small one, so
in
it
it.
doesn't affect the
His
drag.
aerodynamics.
Yeah. So he has a smaller one.
I don't know. I would just like to think it'd be more intimidating. He just flies up on you, hits you in the head with a dingling, and flies away.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Probably on that. But yeah, no, my answer is Bigfoot. I mean, Big Fee. We all know the thing.
Big feet, big cock.
Big feet, big
I'll
cock.
concur on that.
And my thing is, I don't know, I'm still trying to think of it as a question, but this does pertain to our last episode that apparently the whole sex with ghosts and like all that actually has a name.
Has a name.
Yeah, it's spectrophilia.
Spectrophilia. Uh,
Spectrophilia.
that seems fitting.
No, yeah, it it's definitely that.
You got a definition for it?
Yeah, so it's also not just known as spectrophilia, also known as phasmophilia. And it's the sexual attraction to either ghosts or to images in mirrors.
That sounds kind of like narcissism. You know, being attracted to yourself.
I don't think it's meaning like you're attracted to like your image. I think it's meaning you're attracted to like other people's image.
Just in a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd.
And there is a bunch of reports throughout our time of this existing of people being like they have had sex with ghosts.
I was just hearing something about that the other day, actually.
Oh, really? You're like,
Yeah,
my ass got a little tickled. I went, ho ho.
no, there was a movie based off this one lady, and she claimed that she was repeatedly raped by ghosts.
Okay, goddamn.
Yeah, I think they said it was described as like a really buff Asian ghost.
Okay, well, there's my question. How the fuck did she know the race of the ghost?
I think they said that he like showed up. Well, not showed up, but he would like appear in the corner of the room and like green mist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just feels weird that she's like, and he was Asian. Like, okay, well, that doesn't really do anything. Alright. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that sucks. There's a lot of sexual assault with this episode.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. I think maybe our next episode definitely needs to stray away from sexual assault. I think we've done enough for a good bit. That makes it sound so. We've talked about it enough for a bit. My God.
Ooh, what about it's I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's teratophilia, focusing on strange creatures or people with physical abnormalities. They can practice finding beauty in unexpected places.
Okay.
So I think would that count as like a sexual attraction towards cryptids?
I don't know. That just makes me sound like someone who's like obsessed with like disabled,
Well, it's
people.
on strange creatures as well.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Also, I just saw there's apparently uh someone listed. Who is this person? Anel I don't know how to say his last name, but he is a professor for forensic medicine at the some medical college in India. He apparently listed as many as 549 types of different paraphilias, like a bunch of different like types of philias, so like attraction to things.
Is it sexual attraction or just attraction in general?
No, sexual attraction. That's what paraphilias are.
Okay.
So like spectrophilia or phasmophilia, those are all just like, sexual attractions and like, uh, you know.
Right. I was not aware.
So if you see "phile" at the end, that's designated as a paraphilia. So like the most big and the things I've been covering here, pedophilia. That's what that is.
See what you mean now.
Hmm?
Said I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think abnormal is what makes it a paraphilia. If it's not a normal sexual attraction.
Okay.
But,
All right. Well, I mean, I guess some of those can be okay.
well, yeah, like the spectrophilia is, I feel like, a lot. Like, I'm not going to be like, how dare you? Like, I wouldn't count someone as a monster for having that.
Yeah, no, that's just like a weird kink.
Yeah, to a pedophile. Because, like,
Yeah, let's not let's not compare those two.
Yeah, no, like, there's definitely some where it's like, you're not good if you have certain ones.
Yeah.
But,
well, I think that should wrap up the episode.
I think so too. I think that's.
Hope we didn't bother anyone with the topic, but if you want to hear more of these, just let us know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just let us know if you do, and if, because this is a very sensitive subject, if you also feel like maybe we didn't, if there's improvement of covering this kind of stuff, let us know. Because it's not our we're not like, if we did, we're not trying to like make light or not cover it with the seriousness that it needs. So, also let us know on that if you want to see more. But if there's like also stuff to take into consideration. So, we will see you guys. Oh, what?
That's all I got.
We will see you guys next time, and we hope you guys have a good day, and bye.